Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today. Get ready. We're looking into something, well, it's a model, and it's probably something you might have heard of, especially, if you're into the whole how organizations make decisions thing.
Decisions, yay.
Exactly. It's called the garbage can model. And, well, let's just say the name is definitely a conversation starter.
It is, yeah.
And we're taking a look at this through, well, actually, specifically through a book called Garbage Can Model of Organizational Choice. Looking Forward at 40, and it's edited by, let me see, Richard Harrison and Alessandro Lomi.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's, well, that's a pretty dense read, but, that's why we're here, to break it down.
Right, absolutely.
So I got to ask, right off the bat, the name, like, garbage can model, it's kind of funny, right? But I'm guessing there's got to be some serious thinking behind it, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You hit the nail on the head there. The name, it's definitely catchy, maybe a little messy sounding, but yeah, there's a lot of depth to it. It's not just a random funny name.
So, what's the story there? What's a garbage can model all about? You got to break it down for us, make it simple.
Okay, so think of it this way. The garbage can model, it basically says, forget about decisions always being nice and neat,
Yeah.
Like a step-by-step process.
Yeah, like a recipe or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's more like, picture an actual garbage can, right? You got problems in there, solutions, people involved, opportunities, all jumbled up.
Oh, okay.
And they're all kind of swirling around, bumping into each other.
Like a messy soup.
Kind of, yeah. And sometimes things just, connect,
Yeah.
randomly. And that's how decisions happen in organizations. Sometimes. Not always planned, not always, logical. Sometimes it's just the right mix at the right time.
Whoa, hold on. So, big decisions, life-changing stuff, sometimes it's just boom. Because a solution, it just happened to bump into the right person at the right time. Like a cosmic accident.
Haha. Yeah, kind of. And that's the interesting part. The book argues that it's not necessarily a bad thing, this whole, organized chaos. It might sound strange, but in our crazy, fast-paced world, things change all the time.
Always changing.
Right. This model says that kind of messiness, it can be good. It lets organizations be flexible, adapt, and come up with creative solutions. Solutions they might not have thought of otherwise.
Wow, I never thought of it that way. So you're telling me chaos can actually be a good thing, I guess sometimes, right?
Yeah, in the right context, absolutely.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little bit.
It's a different way of looking at things, right?
Yeah, totally. So this book, it mentions looking forward at 40. So, this model's been around for a while, hasn't it? How has it, changed or adapted over the years?
You're right. The model's been kicking around since the 70s, way before smartphones and the internet, right? But the thing is, technology, it's actually made this whole garbage can thing even more relevant.
More relevant.
Yeah, think about it. We're bombarded with information 24/7. Things change so fast. It's like the garbage can is overflowing. So decision-making, it's gotten even more complex, even more fluid.
So the model's like a perfect fit for today's world.
Exactly. It's even more relevant now than it was back then.
That's crazy and kind of cool,
Yeah.
A model with such a funny name, it's actually super insightful about how things work today.
Right. And the book dives deep into all of this, how the model has evolved, how factors like technology, globalization, they all contribute to this messy but sometimes brilliant decision-making process.
As you're talking about all this, it reminds me of, well, this time I was, at a crossroads in my career.
Oh, yeah.
I had this path laid out, like everything was planned, but then I went to this conference, totally random, and I met someone, and that one conversation, it changed everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was like this solution I didn't even know I needed. It just appeared out of nowhere.
That's amazing. And it's a perfect example of the garbage can model in action. You weren't actively looking for this new path, but the opportunity, it just kind of collided with you.
Right. It was a total accident, but a good one.
Exactly. And what's even more interesting, the book actually talks about how organizations can, encourage this kind of serendipitous decision-making.
Encourage chaos. How do you do that?
Well, it's not about creating pure chaos. It's more about creating structures that allow for those unexpected connections to happen, like having spaces where people can interact informally, just bump into each other and chat. Exactly. Or fostering a culture where people feel comfortable sharing ideas, even if they seem random or unfinished.
Like a virtual water cooler or something.
Exactly. That's the key.
So it's not just about accepting the chaos, it's about using it to your advantage.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I'm starting to see how powerful this model can be. So in the real world, are there any companies that are using this
Mhm.
garbage can model effectively?
Examples like case studies of companies that have embraced this model and found success with it.
Can you give us an example?
Sure, there's this one about a tech startup, and they decided to completely ditch the traditional rigid structure. They encouraged their employees to move between teams, work on different projects based on their interests and skills.
Wow, sounds chaotic.
It was, but in a good way. Because this approach, it led to some super innovative products that they probably wouldn't have come up with in a more traditional setting.
It's like the more freedom you give people, the more creative they become.
Yeah, and the more those random, unexpected connections can happen, leading to breakthroughs.
It's funny, it seems counterintuitive, but this whole idea of embracing a little bit of disorder, it actually makes sense, especially in a world where everything's so unpredictable.
Right. It's like the old saying, expect the unexpected, but take it a step further and actually embrace it.
Yeah, and that's what I'm taking away from this deep dive, the garbage can model. It's not just a funny name. It's a reminder that sometimes the best solutions come from the most surprising places.
And that we shouldn't be afraid to let go of the reins a little bit to allow for those serendipitous moments to happen.
So instead of getting stuck in our plans, maybe we should all, welcome a little organized chaos into our lives and see what happens.
Exactly. Embrace the unexpected, the random encounters, the connections that seem to come out of nowhere. You never know what brilliant ideas are hiding in that metaphorical garbage can.
This has been, I don't know, eye-opening, I guess. The garbage can model is definitely something to think about, and I'm definitely going to be looking at decision-making in a whole new light.
Me too. It's a reminder that sometimes the best decisions are the ones we didn't even plan for.
Yeah, exactly. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the garbage can model. It's been a wild ride, and we hope you've learned something new, or at least, had a few laughs along the way.
It's been a pleasure.
And hey, if you're interested in learning more about this, really dive in deep, check out the book, Garbage Can Model of Organizational Choice, Looking Forward at 40. It's a bit dense, but it's packed with insights.
It's worth a read.
And until next time, remember, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep that garbage can metaphor in mind. You never know what gems you might find in there.
Happy hunting. See ya.
Bye.